Stay friends. Can a question really change that equation? Chapter 1. Roses are red, violets are blue. But I don't love you the way you do. With fresh roses in her hand, perfect red light settings, balloons all over and around the table, she said sweetly, I love you, Rick. But he was standing there like dumb kid trying to figure what was exactly happening there, before he could consume the words to his head. Like what? He asked Jen, and she, being all in love, repeated those words again with more grace this time. But for Rick, all this felt insane. He had no answer. Finally, with his dry throat, he tried to pull out some words. He said, Jen. I haven't thought about us this way. You were my best friend since forever, and like my diary where I could say anything, Rick, she interrupted. With her choked up throat, trying to hide her tears, she said, I don't need answer, I got one. She said all this without blinking so that her tears wouldn't fall off, and she turned around, leaving that place in fast-paced walk. Rick stood still for seconds as he couldn't even realize what was happening. What did he do? Finally, he got some momentum and tried to chase her, but she was far from his reach. He turned back and said, well, I got to remove this all before anyone sees this. After clearing it all, he went back home hoping he could clear his mind about what all had just happened, but the more he thought, he only got more confused. Whereas Jen, reaching her home, slammed the door, went straight to her room. Standing in there, she was staring at photos of her and Rick, remembering the moments they spent together, the fun time they had at school, college, and all those amazing trips. They were each other's person. She cried that night and fell asleep at her couch, sobbing even in sleep. Next morning, after clearing his head with all that had happened last night, the only thing Rick had on his mind was to get Jen talk to him. So all that day at college, he was trying to find Jen. After searching for her throughout the campus, he went to Sal, Jen's only escort when Rick isn't by her side. Do you know where Jen is? Rick asked her. Sal, being her arrogant self to Rick, replied, shouldn't I be the one to ask you about this? Okay. So you don't. What did you do? She isn't answering her phone, in fact she didn't even come to college. I haven't done anything, Rick exclaimed and turned around to leave from there, nodding his head in disbelief. Make sure you say me whatever you come to know about her, she said in a defending tone. Yeah, he said and went to his class. After college, he went up to her home, but found the doors locked. Rick, back at his home, was trying to figure her absence in his life. The thought of losing a friend over something like this didn't dawn best of the thoughts in his mind. He took their photo kept on his side table in his hand and said with an emotional voice, I don't know where you are. I just don't want to hurt you. Can I please get my friend back? But I guess you don't want the same. Okay, I might have hurt you last night, but now I will keep the things the way you want. You don't want to talk to me? Okay, Jen. I won't talk to you. But I will be there for my friend, always. Chapter 2. All over. Same again? She didn't attend college for the rest of the week. Next week, he saw her at school and he decided to walk away from her. They collided each other in hallway, but Rick ran quickly away from there, saying sorry before she could say anything. Jen found that strange and tried to bump in him, but every time he escaped a conversation over a time of week. Where Jen, back to the normal herself, thought he was trying to avoid her purposely, Rick thought they were meeting just coincidentally. All of their friends were noticing this, and the gossips had already started floating around in the thin air of their college. After almost a week of hit and miss moments, Jen, with all the frustration, decided to confront him as she was very, very angry. She went straight to the boys' changing room and dragged him off from there, with his pants on but only a towel to cover his upper body. She took him to confined area next to washroom to talk to him. While she was dragging him in hallway, Rick, being half naked, did feel ashamed as he saw people murmuring something, but knew this is going to be their icebreaker. In her angry tone, she asked him, What have you been trying to do since last few days? What? I will smack the hell out of you. Why have you been trying to ignore me? Is this all about that night? You didn't show up to college for an entire week, didn't say a word to me after I couldn't answer. So. You know. Know what? Do you think I am those pretty but no sense type girls behind whom you run? Oh please. Girls run behind, shut up. I didn't show up as I had to deal with it, so I went to Granny's to clear my mind. Does she know about this? I mean what she would be thinking about me, zip it Rick. I never thought you will think about me this way. After saying this she turned back to move out, but Rick caught her hand and pulled her back and said. Does this means I get my friend back? You never lost your friend, dumb. I just needed my time to cop up with this, and now I know it's not necessary that you love the way I love you, and even if I force you to do, you will never be enough for me. With a happy and yet confused face, Rick in his own humorous tone said. And? That's deep. And they both busted in laughter. But they hold each other in that moment. Rick with a cute smirk said, thank you. For getting me my friend back. Jen hugged her, gave a pat on his back, but then she realized she had to do something. She brought him back to his position and slapped him not in very cute way and said, this one for interpreting me all wrong. And they laughed again, but this time Rick was emotional. Just after that when they were leaving Rick stopped and asked her, wanna go for movie after college? It's Pixar, come on. You definitely, but wait, I am out of my pocket money because of all that red proposal stuff. It's okay. I will buy you one. Oh boy, you have to. You owe me one. And their chit-chats never ended. People didn't stop talking about them and their weird behavior throughout that week, but they didn't care of it. They remained best friends forever ahead in life. And their life continued. The end. If you love someone, that love should be unconditional. We can't make anyone feel the way we want to. You can't make them love the way you love them.